Yarn is not cheap and your time is not free. G'day and welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about yarn is not cheap and your time is not free. That's right, you need to charge for your time. Have you ever had anybody say to you, can you make this for free? Can you make this by the weekend? If I buy the supplies, could you just make it for me? That's too expensive. I can buy that cheaper at Walmart. I am sure that we have all heard at least one of those things, and if anybody has said anything different to you, then please let me know in the comments box below. Leave the things that people have said to you about your crochet. If someone makes something by hand, they don't do it for free. They are getting paid for it. So make sure you are charging for your time. There's lots of ways to charge for your time and to include all your supplies and everything. You may make a blanket. You may make a blanket and it might take you 10 hours to crochet. It's probably going to take you a lot longer than that, but let's go on 10 hours. It's going to take you 10 hours to crochet. Let's say you earn $10 an hour, which for me personally, I would have to earn probably $20 an hour or more because my time is not free. So let's say you charge $10. That's 10 hours. That's $100. Plus your supplies. If it's for a blanket, let's say on a good day you're spending $25. That's $125 for a blanket. Let's say it's for a child, so it's not overly big. That's $125 for a blanket. Are people going to pay that? Nope. No. Unless it's someone who really loves you and understands the effort that goes into making something that's handmade, then yes, you may get someone to pay you that price. Have you ever made a blanket and sold it? What did you sell your blankets for? I would love to know. If I'm selling a beanie, or a hat, crochet hat, I normally sell my plain ones for about $15. That's way underpriced. And that's if it's just a plain stitch. I was making waffle stitch hats. I think I got the pattern off Etsy. It was a long time ago. I can't remember. I was selling those hats for $25 or $30 and I did sell them. And they had pom-poms on them and they did sell. But they didn't sell quick because only the people that appreciate your time and what's gone into it, your skills that you've learnt to make this item, only those people were going to pay those prices. I had other people say that's too expensive. Why are you charging this much? And I was like, well, that hat takes me 2 hours, at least 2 hours to make because it's a waffle stitch, so it goes slower. At least 2 hours to make, and plus supplies. So that's, you're paying me $10 an hour. In Australia, $10 an hour is not a wage. You would probably, I haven't had a real job for such a long time. I don't even know how much people get paid these days. Any Aussies watching, let me know. But I would say you might get paid $20 an hour. That even sounds really low. I don't even know. I haven't had a real job since I was 29. I'm now 47. Yeah. So honestly, I have no idea. Please charge. And even if you, okay, say it's for a friend, charge for not a friend that you want to make a gift, but someone that says to you, I want a blanket and I want you to make it. Well, you're going to say, you're going to buy the supplies and I'll make it for you. That's okay. I feel that's okay if you're making something for a friend or a family member or someone that's done you a favour or something like that. I feel like that's okay. That I would do that. I would, if they said I'll buy the supplies if you could make it, I think that's totally fine, especially if you love this person or they've already done something nice for you. But if it's just a customer that says, oh, I'll buy the supplies, I'm sorry. No. No. Have you ever had anybody tell you that's too expensive? I've had people tell me that multiple times, even when the item wasn't that expensive. I used to sell baby hats for $10. People used to tell me that was too expensive and that they could go to the $2 shop, which is like the dollar store. Is it Dollar General in America? A shop that sells really cheap stuff, and it's mostly all junk, but you know, some of us still buy it. So I was selling mine for $10 and they were telling me, well, I can get this at the cheap shop for $5 or $2. That's great if you want mass produced garbage, I didn't use that word, but mass-produced garbage, then go and pay your $2 or $4. That's great. I made this myself. Crochet cannot be made by a machine. So you're not my customer, basically. That's what it comes down to. They're not your customer and they can go somewhere else. Have you had someone come up to you and say, hey, I need a baby blanket. I've got a baby shower to go to, or my niece is having a baby, or my sister's having a baby, whoever's having a baby, someone's having a baby. And they say, I need a baby blanket. I need it by this weekend, or I need it by next weekend. I'm sorry, have you ever crocheted a blanket? It is not that quick. Unless you're sitting there the entire day, you are not going to get a crochet blanket made in like 3 afternoons, 3 evenings of when you've completed your life things that you've got to do, going to work, whatever. It's not going to be that quick. And we don't want carpal tunnel by crocheting a blanket in 3 days. I once got asked by a friend if they could make me a, what's it called? Like a little baby jacket, cardigan. I think it's called a layette set. Layette set? I'm not sure. Is that what it's called? So it has a beanie, it has a little cardigan, it has booties. I don't think she asked for crocheted pants, but it was definitely a beanie, a cardigan, and a blanket. And this going back about 15 years-ish, 15 years, I quoted $145. She wrote back and said, that's way too expensive. I can't afford to pay that much. Could you do it any cheaper? And this is when I was right into YouTube and I was making videos twice a week. I did not do anything else apart from YouTube. I thought that was all I had to do with my life. I've now learned that there are other things to life. And I was like, no, this is going to take me like 25 hours to make. $145 is not that expensive. And she said, I can't afford to pay that. And I said, well, go and find someone that will make it for the price that you want me to make, because that is what I value myself at. Even though that was too cheap, that is what I value myself at, and my time plus supplies. Because if it's for a baby, you're going to buy nicer yarn, it's going to be softer, it's not going to be the cheap stuff that's scratchy and gross. You're going to spend money on things for babies. And it was fine. Like, she said, no, I can't pay that. I'm like, well, obviously you need to find someone else to do that. I was polite. I wasn't rude. I was polite about it. But yeah, don't make stuff because someone says, I can't afford that. Don't get sucked in by that. Just say, that's okay. That's my price. And I suggest you ask somebody else. Someone else may do it for the price the customer wants to pay. And that's okay. If that's what they want to charge someone for that, that's okay. But it wasn't okay for me to do it for less than what I wanted to be paid. Have you ever been asked if someone, and I'm sure this has happened to just about every crocheter, as soon as they know that you crochet, they say, can you make me one of those? Can you make me that? I love this hat. Can you make me this? No. Okay, if it's your niece, I have a 6-year-old niece. If she said to me, Auntie Claire, can you make me a hat? She's going to get a hat. Let's face it. I'm going to make her a hat. And that's different because you love this person. But if it's, I don't know, there's times when you do it, there's times when you don't. If it's someone who just expects you to make them something, that's a no from me. If it's your 6-year-old niece who's absolutely adorable, I only have one niece, I've only got one sister and one niece. My sister only has one child. My niece gets everything because I love her so much. I'm just a sucker. Who am I kidding? But yeah, if someone just said to me, oh, can you make me one of those? I'd say yes, it's $35 or however much I wanted to charge that person. And normally they give you a look as if to go, no, you're going to do it for free. No, I'm not. So have you ever been asked to make something for free? I am sure you have. And when you learn to crochet or learn to knit or learn to sew any of the crafts and the other person doesn't do it, they are going to ask you to make them something. And they don't understand the time it takes to make something. They really don't. My sister asked me to make her a baby blanket for my niece. And of course I said yes. And And of course I bought all the supplies, I bought everything. It was obviously my gift to her. And she asked me how long it took me to crochet the blanket. And I didn't really time myself, but I said, oh, about 50 hours, at least 50 hours. And her face was so shocked. And she went, what? 50 hours? I'm like, yeah. You picked one of the hard, it wasn't a hard pattern, but it had daisy motifs, which were absolutely gorgeous. And it had 2, 4. So each motif had 4 ends. There was yellow in the middle, and then it had like the petals. It may have had another round after that. But let's say 4. It had about 150 of these little motifs, which at the start I really hated making because they were so tedious. In the end, I told myself, you better enjoy making this blanket because this is for your niece. So that, let's say there's 4 ends times, even by 100 motifs, that's 400 ends. And then I had to do the border, and the pattern just, it didn't make sense. It didn't go with what I had to work with. Like, I was looking at my stitches and going, I've got this, but you're telling me to do this. Why does this not fit in that? And it became a nightmare. So I basically just made up my own edging. It still looked really good, if I do say so myself. And I used the suggestions of the pattern on what to do, but it was an absolute nightmare. And I said to my sister, I said, if any of your friends or anybody that you know asks me to make them this blanket, it is $1,000. She's like, why is that so expensive? I said, because I never want to make one of these again. If my niece, who's now 6, if when she's older, and let's say she chooses to have a child, and she asks me to make her a blanket, I would do it. And if my sister, not that she will, but if she had another child, she's not going to, but if that was the case, I would make her another blanket. Nobody else on earth is ever getting one of these blankets from me. Even if they paid me $1,000, not happening. It is time to hydrate. So that's my video for today. I really hope you're having a fantastic day. Is it the weekend where you are? What are you doing for the weekend, or what are you doing this coming weekend? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're getting some crochet time, and I will talk to you later. Happy crochet. Bye.